we love the Commodore Amiga here at Bog Panda, and we love Doom. And so, how could we not love Gloom? We're going to talk a little bit about Gloom today. Hi, everybody. I'm Kelly at KELLYTHUL on social media. And joining me, as always,
I am Dr. Mike at Official Pagan on everything. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, leave comments. Leave comments about your favorite Doom clones. Leave them as separate comments. If you have 5 games that you like, that's 5 comments right there. You're just getting the most out of your free comment ability. Let your voice be heard. Also, you know what the best way to hear someone is? When they're wearing a Bog Panda t-shirt. So you're going to want to hit up our merch store, pick one of those up, and you know what? In exchange, we're going to give you free access to the world's shortest podcast. That's hard, no? And it's right here, free with your free subscription and paid t-shirt.
yeah, I was trying to come up with some sort of we store all the hard nose in banker boxes and ship them between our residents. I just couldn't quite figure it out. But it's really cool. You should watch it. You listen to it. It's the world's shortest podcast. You can impress your friends. Will also impress your friends is you can talk to them about gloom. At least it would impress me. I really have come to more greatly appreciate gloom over the years. Um, so, Mike, you were a little newer to the Amiga world.
Yes.
Well, I don't really know, and you've had plenty of Doom experience, but have you really played Gloom at all?
Yeah. So Super Console X
Okay.
was my introduction to it. Because of getting more into Amiga because of Kelly. I basically no Amiga experience until Kelly kind of introduced me to it and sherped me into that world. I am a Commodore guy though. Commodore 64, I'm a big fan of. I made a few games for it that aren't up to some people's standards, but but checking out the Amiga games that were included in the totally legal ROMs that I have for the Super Console X, Gloom was one of them. So I did get a chance to play Gloom. It was a little weird at first, only because in the initial version there was like a updated version of it that came out later that cleaned up a lot of issues. But in the initial version of the game, which is the one that I have the ROM for, there's a lot of give and take with the graphics and the settings in there. It is not on par with Doom or even Wolfenstein 3D, but it's a super fun game. I do really enjoy playing it. Just like Doom, you could go in, adjust the screen size, adjust some of the textures and things like that to make it run a little smoother and clean up the graphics a little bit. But again, you're losing elements doing that. So it did, in a weird way, take me back to my early PC gaming experiences on deciding, what I was going to keep and get rid of and things like that to optimize the game a little bit more. I remember, especially with Doom, and one of the reasons that I like the console versions of Doom and have played those more is I remember playing Doom at different friends' houses, and it was almost always a completely different experience because people had different setups. So, different viewing window sizes and things like that to make sure it didn't look like 3DO Doom, to make sure you were getting good frame rate and things like that. So it was almost a different experience each time. So it kind of took me back to that. And obviously, it's a game that was heavily, heavily inspired by Doom. So, it did its job and made me think of Doom and go back to that time. But I do really enjoy playing it. It's probably the Amiga game that I've played the most at this point.
Yeah, and I wasn't, in my almost all of my playing experience has been with the OG Gloom, which is going to be a pretty fun experience to play, but definitely wanting in terms of graphics in particular. Just it's just pretty limited. But the enhanced version that came out that allowed you to kind of kick up the resolution and do some more things there, probably land it kind of squarely between Wolfenstein and Doom in terms of appearance, and you can have a little more things going on. There are some things different than Doom in that it's all one level. So there's no up and down really in Gloom. It's all corridors and that. But some of the architecture and what you can have going on in rooms, like big spinning uh, uh, shapes in the middle that are not angular, things that can kind of curve a little bit more. Really, really cool there. The two most magical words in the world to me, infinite ammo, is another really wonderful, wonderful thing about it. No action button, which I think was interesting that you kind of just do the chest bump to get various things open and do that. But it's also not so bad because sometimes you can back into whatever you're doing. So if you can open the door and greet the people that are coming in, and there are a lot that come in. Three levels or three kind of major settings: a space Hulk, a Gothic tombs, and hell. And so you've got some pretty cool things to do there. And then a goodie that I'd love to see. And I don't think I've even ever seen this in a Doom mod. Uh, is kind of X-ray vision glasses, or they call them thermal glasses, to where you can actually see through walls and know when you're about to get into trouble. So that was super cool. So the video, which we're going to include a link to, will show a lot of gameplay, including some of those features, which is really cool. Um, it I need to kind of do a little bit of hunting around to see what I can do. I'm assuming most emulation environments can support the higher end um, version of Gloom, so definitely want to try that out. And then the other bonus that came with the later versions was the ability to edit the, we talked about a little bit earlier, the ability to edit the environment, create overlays, and do all that. And so included in the video that we're giving you a link to was a mixing of two of my favorite Amiga things, which was Gloom, and it came from the desert. And so I thought that was just fantastic. And so, really cool. So there's a whole new Gloom world out there that I was unaware of. And so I appreciate you finding the video and sharing it, which we'll continue to share here off of this show. But it was really cool.
Yeah, it was specifically those mods that really got me interested in this video. So I really didn't know a whole lot about Gloom. I had heard of it, like I knew there was a Doom clone called Gloom that was out. And then when I saw it on Super Console X, started playing it, had fun with it. I do remember looking it up on YouTube and somebody mentioning that there was like an enhanced version with better resolution. I didn't realize it was this enhanced though from that footage. Like I didn't realize it was that much of an uptick in the resolution. So now I really want to seek out one of those ROMs and start playing that and save my eyes a little bit from the choppy double pixeled version of it because I just can't do the small window. I got to do full screen and it's just a little rough on the eyes at times. But to what Kelly was saying, what's interesting about it, yeah, the gameplay is a lot more simplistic than Doom. Um, and at least on the non-enhanced version, it doesn't look as good as Wolfenstein or some of the other games of that era. Probably a little bit better than Supernova's Arc 3D though. But compared to some of the other games of the era, it's not as impressive looking. But the level design is really interesting. Like Kelly was saying, there's a lot of literal moving parts to the rooms. And the only game I can really think of that had that kind of movement in it, and it wasn't done the same way, but had those kind of moving elements to the rooms, would be Rise of the Triad. I don't know if you played that at all.
I have not.
It's a lot like Doom, but I'm gonna say edgier for the time. A lot more violent. There's a lot more over the top content and stuff in it. Really good game though. That's also been remastered and remade. There's a whole remake of that as well. And I believe there were some expansion packs and things for that. So that's easy to find. It's on all the modern platforms for the remake and I believe the remaster as well. But that had some like moving platforms and things you could jump onto that would like shoot you up in the air, move you across the room and things like that. But that's the only thing like that that I can think of from that era when I was playing first person shooters like that. Because, like you mentioned, Doom has different levels and things like that, but there's not a ton of movement in there. There's a couple of platforms where you can, jump down into a pit and hit something and it'll move you up and down in an elevator like fashion. There's not a lot of that though, whereas this has entire, spinning elements and rooms and stuff that'll push you along and into different areas. So that's pretty cool. And it does differentiate this, in my opinion, from a lot of the other games of the time. Another thing that looks interesting, and again, I haven't played the enhanced version, but another thing that looks interesting about that to me is having the on-screen sprite for your gun. That's my biggest complaint about Gloom is I don't like that that's not there. And that's not uncommon of the time either. I remember playing other first-person shooters where you don't have the gun and thought that was really weird. I was not a huge fan of that. I prefer having the gun sprite on screen. I don't know if this matters to you or if this is like a coin door thing, but for me, I preferred having the gun sprite on screen.
No, I prefer it too. I think that would be good. The other thing I would like is a save option because
Yeah.
I love the save option in Doom a lot because it's like because as I kind of make slow progress sometimes like okay do a save okay go back and then let's see what happens next like didn't go so well so I'll go back to the save and so yeah that option's not there. You're given also you're given a a limited number of lives. And what I was unaware of, because I hadn't, played the heck out of the game before, is that if you find enough secret room stuff going on and you dig deep enough, you can actually come across on each level there is a TV screen where you have a clone within a clone. So you've got Gloom, which is kind of a Doom clone, and then you find this TV, and now there's a Defender clone on the TV that if you can kind of clear that level, you get an extra life, which is kind of a neat little extra little bonus thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, Duke Nukem had alluded to things like that, like you could hit the pool balls with your gun on the pool table and things like that. So there was elements of like mini games and things like that in there, but not quite as developed as that. So that's cool to see that. Of course, there's a Doom mod now where you can play Doom inside Doom to make just to make Doom playable on everything. Um, and I'm sure we're going to talk about it, but of course, there's the Doom lawnmower that's
Yes.
coming as well. So I'm
Yeah.
sure we'll be talking about that on an episode. Um, but
That's
yeah,
not a new weapon, folks. That's a platform.
yeah, no, there's an for real lawnmower company, and their LCD screens on their high-end lawnmowers are going to come pre-built with Doom now, preloaded with Doom for a special edition lawnmower. You know,
Like you do.
yeah, makes sense. Um, but what was really cool in this video, and the reason I want to send it to you was those kind of mods that they were showing off at the end. That's something I know that exists for a lot of other first person shooters as well, but that is something that for me personally, I associate that completely with Doom. I remember playing Barney Doom, so many different variants and mods of Doom as a kid. So seeing that and then seeing it came from the desert, which I know is a favorite of yours. So that's what got me excited about it. And I didn't know if you knew that that was even a thing that somebody
No.
made that mod. I was half expecting you to reply back like, yeah, that's my fourth favorite mod for
Yeah. No. No. All new to me. And but I'm on the lookout now. So it'll be fun to do. Cool. Well, hey, if you're out there, let us know if you've had some experience with Gloom, what your Gloom experience is. If you want to tip us off where we might find a good enhanced version, we're always open to hearing about that as well. But there's pretty good information in the video we're sharing in terms of like for those mods and all that, where you can dig some of this stuff up. So that's pretty cool. Thought we'd kind of share it with you. Anything else to add, sir?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I do wish, and who knows, maybe in the fan community, somebody who's a lot smarter than me would be able to do something like this. Um, I would love to see Gloom ported to something else.
Yeah, that would be nice. Gloom 64.
Ah, that would be amazing.
That'd be pretty cool. I think the source code's available now. So
There you
uh,
go. Get on it, people watching this who know how to do that.
yeah, please do. Keep us posted on your progress.
Bog Panda.